Hello and welcome to a Bible study with Paul Hart. Today's subject is the coming of the Lord and the end times.
The coming of the Lord and the end times. This is study number 6, the punishment of Babylon, false religions and merchants. 2 full chapters in Revelation are devoted to describe the destruction of this mystery of evil, simply called Babylon. This story of evil starts to unfold at the Tower of Babel in rebellion and disobedience to God, and continues right through human history up till its destruction just before the 1,000-year reign of the Lord Jesus Christ. We're going to look at this, and we'll start off the Tower of Babel, evil beginnings. This happened maybe about 2300 to 2200 BC, before Christ. And we'll take these Bible readings, Genesis chapter 9 and some from chapter 10 chapter 11.
Then God blessed Noah and his sons, saying to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth." Cush was the father of Nimrod, who grew to be a mighty warrior on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. That is why it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. The first centres of his kingdom were Babylon, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh in Shinar. Now the whole world had one language and a common speech. As men moved eastward, they found a plain in Shinar and settled there. They said to each other, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used brick instead of stone, and tar for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that we may make a name for ourselves and not be scattered over the face of the whole earth." So the Lord scattered them from there over all the earth, and they stopped building the city. That is why it is called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole world. From there the Lord scattered them over the face of the whole earth.
The command to Noah after leaving the ark was to fill the earth with people, spread. Noah's great-grandson Nimrod built Babylon and established an empire of cities. A tower was built in that city called Babel, and in Semitic it means the gate of God, but in Hebrew Babylon means confusion. History tells us a ziggurat tower was built in the city. A city with a tower, not to be scattered. God said go and spread, but they said stay together and build it toward the heavens, make a name for ourselves. Jesus is a name above all our pride-driven names. A first judgment was confusion of their language, and so they were forced to scatter over the face of the whole earth. The first head of the beast in rebellion starts here with Nimrod, the rebel king leader. Babylon, as a city empire, continued to grow and later is ruled by King Nebuchadnezzar. Let's look at the Babylon Empire destroyed. Look at Jeremiah chapter 27 verses 6 to 7 and in chapter 50 the first 3 verses. And these Bible readings, these are occurring round about 600 BC.
Now I will hand all your countries over to my servant Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon. I will make even the wild animals subject to him. All nations will serve him and his son and his grandson until the time for his land comes. Then many nations and great kings will subjugate him. This is the word the Lord spoke through Jeremiah the prophet concerning Babylon and the land of the Babylonians. Announce and proclaim among the nations. Lift up a banner and proclaim it. Keep nothing back, but say, Babylon will be captured, Bel will be put to shame, Marduk filled with terror, Her images will be put to shame and her idols filled with terror. A nation from the north will attack her and lay waste her land. No one will live in it. Both men and animals will flee away.
God uses this ungodly king, Nebuchadnezzar, to punish Israel with 70 years of captivity in Babylon itself. Therefore God calls him my servant. 400 years of worshipping other gods has now brought this punishment by the rivers of Babylon. It's even a pop song in recent decades. Later, this city and empire itself will be captured and conquered by a northern nation now known as modern day Iran. So much in today's news. A second judgment, and another beast head is judged. Later still, the Medes and Persians, Iran, the Greeks also ruled from this city in Babylon. Eventually it reduced, and Peter the Apostle visits it and the Jews living there, and we could read that in 1 Peter chapter 5. They were last heard of in Scripture about 1000 AD, in literature about 1000 AD. Today it's just a ruin and tourist site, but Saddam Hussein started rebuilding it, seeing himself as a Nebuchadnezzar-type figure, but defeated in the Iraq War and later hung for war crimes. Some feel that Babylon will rise again and become a wealthy world city of influence. Although the city has been destroyed, its evil still lives on in the world today. New York City, the financial capital of the world at Wall Street, has a suburb, guess what? Called Babylon. How appropriate. Babylon has the devil's character. Let's read from Ezekiel chapter 28, verses 16 to 18.
Through your widespread trade you were filled with violence and you sinned. So I drove you in disgrace from the mount of God, and I expelled you, O guardian cherub, from among the fiery stones. Your heart became proud on account of your beauty, and you corrupted your wisdom because of your splendour. So I threw you to the earth. I made a spectacle of you before kings. By your many sins and dishonest trade you have desecrated your sanctuaries. So I made a fire come out from you, and it consumed you, and I reduced you to ashes on the ground in the sight of all who were watching.
The two statements recorded here of widespread trade and dishonest trade give a key to the profiteering attitude in the heart of the devil. Make a profit, by and with violence if necessary. The city-state and empire of Tyre did just that, with trading ships loaded with soldiers. Trade with us or else. Intimidation and violence made them strong, and all the trading ships and nations have done the same. It is this greedy and get attitude which is in the heart of Babylon and in the heart of the big merchant corporations in the world today. If you want us to buy your products, accept our price. This is how the price to the ordinary farmer has been pushed so low, oppressed by the supermarket merchants of the world today. Babylon, spiritual and merchant evil punished. Firstly, her evil occultist religions punished. And this is revealed in Revelation chapter 17. We'll read quite a few verses there.
One of the 7 angels who had the 7 bowls came and said to me, "Come, I will show you the punishment of the great prostitute who sits on many waters. With her the kings of the earth committed adultery, and the inhabitants of the earth were intoxicated with the wine of her adulteries." Then the angel carried me away in the spirit into a desert. There I saw a woman sitting on a scarlet beast that was covered with blasphemous names and had 7 heads and 10 horns. the woman was dressed in purple and scarlet and was glittering with gold, precious stones and pearls. She held a golden cup in her hand, filled with abominable things and the filth of her adulteries. This title was written on her forehead: Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes, and of the abominations of the earth. I saw that the woman was drunk with the blood of the saints, the blood of those who bore testimony to Jesus. When I saw her, I was greatly astonished. This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman sits. They are also 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is, the other has not yet come. But when he does come, he must remain for a little while. The beast who once was, and now is not, is an 8th king. He belongs to the 7 and is going to his destruction. Then the angel said to me, "The waters you saw where the prostitute sits are peoples, multitudes, nations and languages. The beast and the 10 horns you saw will hate the prostitute. They will bring her to ruin and leave her naked. They will eat her flesh and burn her with fire, for God has put it into their hearts to accomplish his purpose by agreeing to give the beast their power to rule until God's words are fulfilled."
The first head of this evil beast of Babylon is described as 5 have fallen in history. The first is probably at the Tower of Babel, being the first appearance of organised evil after the flood and Noah. The 6th one is a Roman beast at the time of John writing this prophecy. Think of the evil Caesars, Nero, Caligula and Domitian. At the time of writing of the Revelation, that's AD 96. The 7th head is the end-time beast with 10 nation horns yet to emerge. The anti-God blasphemies of all the names of the beast, occult and false religions, she has enticed the nations of the world and its inhabitants to drink of in a drunken frenzy. These chapters describe it in real detail. As a result, persecution and martyrdom of the saints of Jesus in her drunken fill. God causes a disunity and puts in the heart of the final beast and a 10-nation confederacy dominating the world to attack and destroy all other religions. Justice. Evil attacking evil. Just like evil Babylon attacking evil Israel in Jeremiah and Daniel's time for punishment because of their 400 years of evil temple worship of other gods. Now let's look at her evil greed and profiteering is punished. Let's read from Revelation chapter 18, and there's quite a number of verses we're going to read there.
For all the nations have drunk the maddening wine of her adulteries. The kings of the earth committed adultery with her, and the merchants of the earth grew rich from her excessive luxuries. Then I heard another voice from heaven say, "Come out of her, my people, so that you will not share in her sins, so that you will not receive any of her plagues." The merchants of the earth will weep and mourn over her because no one buys their cargoes anymore. They will say, "The fruit you longed for is gone from you. All your riches and splendour have vanished, never to be recovered." In 1 hour such great wealth has been brought to ruin. Every sea captain and all who travel by ship, the sailors and all who earn their living from the sea will stand far off.
An angel pronounces the destruction, a massive economic collapse, bigger than the 1929 depression and the GFC, the global financial crisis, and the current COVID recession. The merchants will mourn, we're told. The wealthy are in distress. No one buys our products. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be a massive financial collapse and economic collapse that the world has never ever seen amongst all the ones we've seen so far. But there's rejoicing in heaven. Let's go to Revelation chapter 18 and read verse 20.
Rejoice over her, O heaven. Rejoice, saints and apostles and prophets. God has judged her for the way she treated you.
The holy apostles and prophets, the martyrs and all the believers are watching as God's justice is being meted and measured out as the Babylon sorceries and prideful attitudes are destroyed forever, never to rise again. Here is victory and celebration as evil destroys evil. God puts it in the heart of evil to destroy evil and let them do the work for him. And so we are in heaven watching the destruction and the financial destruction of Babylon and all its merchant corporations and all its evil of everything from occult and false religions all around the world. There's great rejoicing in heaven. More about that later, in the next study, in fact. Here's a postscript. Going into the 1,000-year reign on earth, new economic methods will be used by the King of Kings to rule and manage the earth. If you are a believer today, then you'll be involved in that future reign. Looking forward to it, eh? So in cities and wherever we've been assigned, villages, then we will be leading people to have an economic and a way of life which is completely different to the way of life now. Fancy, then people will be making and manufacturing things for the use of everybody. And that dominating, greedy attitude will be completely destroyed. And you'll be helping God manage it on the earth in that 1,000-year period. Get ready for it. Live it today. Live for him today and have the right attitude. May God bless you real good.